an event on the last Saturday of each month, an event co-organized by Read Pakistan and the International Institute of Humanology. My name is Jessica Lockhart. I am the director of the International Institute of Humanology, and I have the utmost pleasure to be one of the conductors today for this event. Today, we're going to have some wonderful women experts, authors, addressing a very important topic. The title for today is going to be Empowering Women, and we're going to be approaching this topic from many different points of view and perspectives. The International Institute of Humanology is collaborating with Read Pakistan for this. Read Pakistan is an organization that has the ultimate, beautiful, fantastic goal of disseminating books and disseminating reading. And it does everything in its power to make people realize how important books are in their lives. I, Asad, will be collaborating with another conductor for today's event. The other conductor is my friend, expert, engineer, fantastic, wonderful Javeria, Asad, who is the Vice President for International Events for Read Pakistan. Javeria, let me say hello to you today.
Hello, good evening to you all. Thank you so much, Jessica. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Javeria. Very, very quickly, today's edition is a new symposium on different things having to do with human beings. We're going to be talking about women because we think that the topic of empowerment is very important, even though, as you will see, the different experts will be approaching it from different points of view. We have 3 experts with us, but we have a surprise for you as well. The 3 experts, I will be introducing them very briefly now, but we will give you a complete CV once we give them the floor to make their presentations, are going to be NOORZIA AFRIDI, FAUZA BELTZ, and ALEXANDRA PHILIPONA. But we have, as I said, a wonderful surprise, because today, Javeria Asad will also be taking the floor and making a short presentation to enlighten us on this very, very important topic. Without further ado, let the expert speak. Javeria, would you be so kind as to introduce our first expert today?
Yes. Can I share a small rundown of our previous events, if I have 2 minutes, for the viewers who have just joined us today?
Of course. Go ahead.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, our first introductory event was launched on 28 or 29 August, in which we introduced science of humanology and its tips and techniques. We invited different humanologists who highlighted the concepts of humanology on the first day with the different themes, and the second day with the theme growth and change. And our second edition was based on the theme violence against women, and we invited different experts, authors, humanologists to share their point of view and possible adopt solutions to dilute the intensity of this issue. The main extract of the whole discussion was that victims should not face shame and blame. We need to break the silence to prevent our girls and women from this severe victimization. And our main agenda of this project is to discuss different social and educational topics under the umbrella of humanology, which we will join every last Saturday of the month. And today, as mentioned by Jessica, we are discussing the topic Empowering Women, which is continuity of our previous event, which was violence against women. So without wasting more time, I just want to invite our first guest of tonight. Let me share her profound profile with you guys. She is NOORZIA. She is our expert of today's discussion. Ms. NOORZIA AFRIDI, founder and CEO of women-led organization named Society for Appraisal and Women Empowerment in Rural Areas, SAWERA. Noor is an internationally recognized women rights defenders and recipient of 2014 HRD Award from Frontline Defenders Organization based in Ireland, Europe. Noor's main areas of work is women and girls empowerment in the form of their education rights, health rights, social acceptance, political participation, economically supporting women enhanced to enable them to be independent and to be involved in decision-making process from household to all high levels. Till date, more than 37,000 women, girls, children, and men has supported by different projects in the tribal areas of Pakistan, working for women equal status at all levels. We are honored to have you, NOORZIA AFRIDI. The next 15 minutes, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Javeria, and hi everyone to giving me this opportunity to share my experience and how we are working for the women empowerment in the tribal region of Pakistan and everywhere. So I would like to share my screen. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so first slide, you can see this women empowerment, empower women and empower the whole world. So as you mentioned, the topic is about women empowerment. So how we can empower women from different perspective. In my opinion, the first thing that should be considered first for the empowerment of women is the decision-making power of a woman. How a woman can be empowered by giving them this opportunity and this right to decide about their life, about their choices. So what is women empowerment? First of all, is the rising of women's status. It's a household level, social, political, and economical level through education, training, and awareness. And we as SAWERA, we are also working for this topic and political, economical, and education of women in the tribal region. And till now we have worked on these issues and this development. So the first step that is toward the empowerment of women is decision making. In my opinion, this is my personal opinion. I don't know what is your opinion and all the other participants. That first, the power of women is their decision making. Yeah, at every level, if they will be empowered to decide about their life, to decide about everything. So she can be empowered not by only for herself, but always for her community, family, and everyone. As there is a famous, I like this quote because it's very, this touched my heart. It's, yeah, one of the most courageous thing you can do is identify yourself. When we identify ourselves, that, yeah, who we are, what we can do, and then where we want to go. So I like this quote, and that's why I'm presenting this in my presentation. And it means that women should have self-confidence and realize it, the fact that, yeah, we as a woman are enough strong if we want to do, and we can do, and we have this right, and we have to get our right. And the second empowerment and the second step towards the women empowerment is education. It is most important for everyone, and especially for girls and women. All those nations who have invested on women education are experiencing sustainable economic development. Yeah, like everywhere we see that the nation whose women and girls are educated, they are economically stable because both men and women are working, both are supporting themselves and their families and everyone. So education is most important for women and girls, and we as SAWERA, we are also working on this to educate girls and women and to support them how they can make their life better by getting education and awareness. And the third step is economic empowerment, like how we can economically empower a woman and what she can do if she is economically empowered. So economic empowerment, that women have access to income and assets, like whatever we are providing them the opportunity of income generation, we are providing them skill enhancement training, and also enhancing their capacity by providing different trainings, what skills they have, and then to provide them some sorts of funding to start their business, right? So this is the access to income and assets, because most of women are not getting this access. Only men are target and different areas and different projects and different activities, but women are not considered for this aspect. But we as SAWERA, we are doing this. And the second step is control of benefit from economic gains. Like whatever they gain from their income, it should be the right of the women to use that part of their economic gains. And the power of decisions, like if they are getting money or if they are working or they are doing anything for themselves or for their community or their family. So the decision should be of a woman to decide like where I can use this money, whether I can use this money to spend my children to school or whether I should spend to support my family. Like it shouldn't be that a man member will take all the money and she will be working in the factories or anywhere. So the decision should be of a woman to decide to use their income and to their gains. And also in this regard, I like this quote also, like each time a woman stands up for herself, she stands up for all women. Like we as a woman, me, you all, we stand up for ourselves, for our rights, to protect ourselves, to empower ourselves, and then we can empower the other women and everyone. So this is like economic empowerment we are. And the other step is political participations, like how the political participation of a woman is important to be empowered. If a man is doing legislation or to making any law for women, so as we a woman can consider and can feel the problems of other women, no man can think about it, what is the real problem of a woman and how they can come in the political setup and the system. So that's why the political representation and political involvement of women is most important to make law and legislate, to do legislation in the parliament and the political system of the country. So it's most important that women should come, but unfortunately in our country, Pakistan, especially in the tribal region, women are not getting that opportunity to be the part of political system. Even in our tribal region and 7 districts, there is only now in 2018 only 1 MPA. Fortunately, now we are lucky that we have 1 MPA of women, and other than that, there is no women in the political system. So that's why the representation of women is most important, and to decide about our rights, to do better decisions and to make better law for women empowerment and how they can solve the problem of women. So women should come in the political system, and it's their right. They can get and they should have this right to come in the political system. And then the last one is the social empowerment, like how the social empowerment of women is important to be empowered for herself and for everyone. Like they should have shelter, like protection. It's the right of women, and for their empowerment, like they should be protected. They have shelter, proper shelter, and safe drinking water and sanitation. And we as our organization, we have also worked for this to provide shelter and protection and safe drinking to the women, because mostly women are not having that access. And the other thing is nutrition and health improvement. This is also most important for women to have access to proper health treatment. And in our region and everywhere in Pakistan, in the whole world, women are suffering more with the health problem because they are not getting proper treatment and they are not considered for proper good health. So that's why it's the most important that women should have social empowerment in this regard. And then the proper education and science and technology. Like most of men are coming and they are technical and they are working in technology, but there are very rare women and some women that they can come in technology and science and they are getting the proper education. Education doesn't mean that only like to educate a woman. Education means that you are properly aware about yourself and every problem and where you can go, what you can get. So the proper education is also important for women, and they should come in technology. We also have provided science and technology opportunity to the tribal region women and girls, and nowadays they are working in some factories and like this is the benefit of what women can do if they are educated and they can support. So in my perspective, these all steps are most important to have an empowered woman, to have an empowered society, and to have the empowered nation. So these all steps are most important for women empowerment. And these are a two pictures from our projects that what we have done for women empowerment. Like education, we have worked on girls and women education in the tribal region. And also we have worked for enterprise development of women to train them and to give them this opportunity to be economically strong and to get their own money and to support herself, to their children, and also to her family and community. And that's what we have done. Yeah. So thank you. So this was a short presentation about women empowerment. And I know that you all and everybody in this society is empowered if they realize herself as we are strong as a woman. Never neglect this fact that we are weak, we are strong, we can do anything if we want. Thank you.
Thank you so very, very much for this very enlightening presentation, NOORZIA. I am very, very happy to have had you here today with us making this presentation. We're going to now move on. We're going to make the next presentation. We're going to introduce our next speaker and keep all the questions for our 4 speakers for later today once we're in the panel. The next speaker, I'm also going to try and share her photograph because she also is an incredible human being and an incredible woman. So we're going to be listening to another amazing experience today, an amazing experience that has a lot to tell, a lot to share, a lot to inform about, and a lot to enlighten us with. Please welcome our next speaker. Let's see if I can show you here we go. Let's see if I can show you her profile. There she is. I'm going to be very happy now to introduce FAUZA BELTZ. FAUZA BELTZ is one very incredible woman. She is connecting with us, if I am not mistaken, from the United Arab Emirates, but again, if I'm not mistaken, she comes all the way from Kenya. Am I right? She will clarify it in a minute. Well, she's an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, a mentor, and the founder of FAUZA Consultancy Limited. She's the author of Rising from the Dust, a woman's journey to self-discovery and transformation, and transform fear into freedom, harness the power of your mind. And this fantastic woman, thank you so much for sharing that slide with us, Javeria. And this amazing woman is not only the author of the book, The Entrepreneur, she's also a passionate person about youth development and supporting communities. She's devoted to helping young men and women make a lasting change and live their best lives. FAUZA is a creative person and has a passion for all things that are artistic. And this is what led FAUZA to creating FAUZA Consultancy Limited. And it was born as a blog documenting her interior design creations, her jewelry collection, and her love for fashion. But that evolved, as she will probably be commenting on during her presentation. She is a qualified interior designer from the Center of Executive Education in Dubai. FAUZA has used her status as an accomplished jewelry designer to endorse African women, develop their craft through sales on her website, FAUZABELTZ.com. And in 2019, she founded the foundation that FAUZA Foundation, registered in Kenya, and aiming at empowering women and men, young women and men, through inspirational school talks, mentoring programs, and providing female hygiene products. As you can see, FAUZA is quite a character. We are really, really proud to have her here with us. She's an influential Kenyan woman who is often invited to go on television shows and is also the host of FAUZA Diaries, a digital talk show that offers authentic and insightful tales on unconventional conversations. FAUZA will be addressing the topic chosen for today, empowering women, and I am sure she will give us her own perspective and a vision that you will not forget. FAUZA, welcome. It's a great honor to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you to READ Pakistan and to everyone who is involved in making this world a better place. Thank you for having me tonight. I'm always very, very grateful when a door opens up for me and to have an opportunity to share. So my name is FAUZA BELTZ, and I am original from Kenya, and I've been living in United Arab Emirates, Dubai for the past 10 years at the moment. And I don't have a presentation because I like to tell stories. So tonight, please give me a little bit of your time and a listening ear because I would like to tell you a story. And this story is about a little girl who grew up in a small village in coastal part of Kenya. Like many children born around the world who are planned for, where parents and the extended family are looking forward to having this child, this girl did not fall in that category. In fact, the parents did not even know each other well. It was what we refer nowadays as the one-night stand. She was unplanned for and not even expected. However, she surprised her parents weeks later in her mother's womb. When the parents of her mother discovered that she was pregnant out of wedlock, she was taken to the family of the father, who denied his responsibilities. The mother went back to her parents, gave birth to the girl, and after a few months living with her parents, she decided it was okay to pack up and leave because of the shame that she had brought into her own family. 3 years later, the mother met another man, but this now forced her to take the girl to her mother, where the girl stayed until she was about 18 years old. By then, the father had softened up and instructed his mother to go get his daughter. You can imagine the confusion that was going on in this girl's mind. First, it was her mother letting her go, and now the grandmother is letting her go. Everything she knew that was familiar to her was being taken away. This girl is none other than yours truly, FAUZA. The little girl who was neglected, abandoned, abused, both physically, emotionally, remained inside of me and had problems loving herself, relating with people and life, especially during teenage years when we are all trying to fit in the community and trying to find our place in the communities and in our societies that we live in. A child who has been born and raised and moved from one home to another with different sets of adults to raise them up. These children grow up with no sense of belonging, and they start to tell themselves stories that are not even true, like you're not good enough, you are not loved, you are not capable, you are not smart, no one will ever love you. You are not worthy of this life. No one can love you. And at times, they believe some of the names they were called, but even the labels that they have identified themselves with. A few years back, I read a book by a lady named Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life. In her book, Louise Hay says, if we are willing to do the mental work, almost anything can be healed. It is after reading Louise Hay's story and started doing her mental work, I realized that I had the power to heal all my traumas and love myself for who I am created to be. At this point in my life, I was trying to reconcile with myself the reason of my birth, of my being that created family division. I grew up with so many questions that until today, I don't have answers for. But it is in these moments, in the pursuit of searching for one's identity, I started documenting the book that is right now on your screen, Rising from the Dust, A Woman's Journey to Self-Discovery. And a few years later down the line, I jotted again, Transform Fear into Freedom, Harness the Power of Your Mind. I went on this journey because I realized in my pursuit for my own happiness, my own well-being, my own identity, I realized that there is always power within us. That power that it has never been tapped to. But sometimes, because when we are in the midst of chaos, we often don't have that connection because we are only hearing the noises and the voices in our head. Because of this vulnerability of jotting down, rising from the dust, the media, especially specifically in Kenya, approached me. They wanted to know what had led me into sharing my story. Stories that they are not common in the part of the world that I was born. But because they were curious, they thought it was a good idea to have me and share on the bigger platform. I remember the first interview that I had, my inbox was filled with so many questions, but also many women came to me saying, I applaud you for being vulnerable and opening up and sharing your story. There were many messages that came through that led me to realize that I was not the only person who was having a lot of questions in my life. So this and many other messages that came through after the publication led me to found woman-to-woman conversation, a platform where I bring real men and women to share their stories, just like what we are doing tonight. Because I believe when we share our stories, we are helping others, we are healing ourselves, and we are passing the baton to those who are behind us, who are looking for someone to remind them that you are capable. And in the pursuit of that, and the opportunities that came upon of me tapping into the schools, specifically in the slums in Kenya and in the rural areas, to mentor these young girls and inspire them to stand firm, to know that there is higher power that is bigger than their issues, than their problems, than the lack of identity, than the poverty. I realized that not only these girls didn't have the basics, but also some of these girls, they were going through emotional, physical abuse, sexual abuse, that led me to found now FAUZA Foundation. I realized that when we share our stories, other people, they find power when they hear your story, your testimony. And so I founded FAUZA Foundation in the hope of mentoring, coaching, supporting some of these girls, especially in the rural areas and in the slums, with school fees as well as school amenities. But that was not just enough. Because of woman to woman, I realized that many teenagers, they don't have a self-dignity. They don't love themselves because of what is going on in their own life. And that is why FAUZA Foundation exists, woman to woman exists, because there is my story and there is also my mother's story that I want other women to know and to realize that they are not alone in their pursuit of searching for themselves, for searching for their own identity, and for finding their own power. It's through my journey that started unplanned by two unloving people that even did not know each other, that now I came to realize that each one of us are very, very important. It does not matter where you started. It does not matter where you come from. It does not matter the labels that you've been given. It does not matter even the labels that you have identified yourself with. What matters is what God says about you. That is the foundation that helped me to start opening up all those cabinets and starting the mental work and the cleaning, because I realized all these years that I had not tapped into the inner power, the inner being that has always been with me, because this power has never left. It's always with us. It's always with you. Martin Luther King said, not everyone can be great, but everybody can be good, because greatness is determined by service. All we need is a heart of service and a soul generated by love. As I close, I want to ask you, having heard this story, what kind of change are you going to make in someone else's life to improve their situation? You see, it's not just enough that we talk about these issues, because these are issues that have been there for decades. It's even more crucial that we act. And the time is now. You and I are the ones that we've been waiting for. I want to challenge all of us tonight that we fully take and make education agenda sensitive. I love what the first speaker shared about that as well. I think now that I'm also sharing it, it means that we are all in alignment, that this is something that we all need to guard and take it so seriously. There has been progress in education, but COVID for me last year and this year proved that, especially where I come from, there is just so much that needs to be done. I'm just so grateful that my son had the capability and the blessing, despite not going to school, he was still able to study at home. But that was not the case in many parts of the world, especially Africa. Schools were closed for a year, and children are forced to go back to redo the previous year. What a waste of time and school fees, for especially to those parents who don't have enough resources. So we need to make sure that education has been made agenda sensitive, especially to women in the rural areas and in the slums. The other thing we need to do is we need to give our young women role models. Role models like all of us in this call tonight, and those who are watching us on the other side of the screen, and those who will stumble this conversation later. We need to give them role models so that they can expand their dreams. I believe so much in the power of mentoring and coaching, because someone has held my hand. If it was not for that, I don't know where I could have been. Sometimes we need to be reminded, we need to remind others that we are capable of anything that we can think of. We have the power. We need also to empower our mothers, the mothers in the rural areas who have no resources like you and I on this call have, the mothers in the slums, who they are young mothers, teenage mothers. We need to empower these moms. We need to give them an opportunity, a platform, empower them, educate them, to make choices in their lives that they are useful, wise enough that they can enable their daughters to go back to school. Because a young teenage mother who had never had an opportunity to sit in a classroom, they're not going to think of sending their own child to school because they don't know that. And when we don't know better, we often don't do better. So we need to be careful and intentional to empower these mothers, especially the young mothers. We need to get more women in power. I love, again, what the other speaker shared about that, because it's already proven to overcome many systemic barriers for women to get into success. We need to increase the participation for women in our local or even regional and national legislation. The progress is there, but it's not enough. We can hardly count how many women there are in the offices where they can sit in the boardrooms to make decisions for the other women who are watching behind. So we need to be courageous and be the ones in the arena, not the ones who are sitting in the seats behind, but being on the table. We need all to be reading in the same hymn. And lastly but not least, we need to give proper value to women's work. The unpaid work for women is phenomenal, especially where I come from. There is just so much going on. We need to provide the foundation, for the global economy. Because women, when you give a woman just one seed, she's gonna multiply that. And because women, they are so good in multiplication, we need to empower each other so that we can have them use their hands, use their talent, use their passion, use their dreams, use their education, whatever it is, let us empower each other so that we can do the multiplication. Thank you so much, and God bless you. I hope this has encouraged you to stand firm in your own journey as you navigate on women empowerment, as what Jessica and Humanology Institute are doing. Thank you, Jessica, for having me.
Thank you so much, FAUZA, for sharing this heart-touching story. Basically, you became the voice of many other women who are reluctant to share their hardship and struggle of their journey. And you are, mashallah, multitasker. You are an entrepreneur, writer, mentor. Even lack of resources in your area, you establish yourself as an inspiration and a role model for many women. And you perfectly said that first we need to check with ourselves, check with our heart what we want from life. And definitely we know better than anybody what we can do with our lives. So thank you so much. And definitely we will have you in future sessions also, and definitely we will have you in our panel discussion. So now moving towards our third guest speaker, another amazing woman who is doing amazing things on ground level, particularly in the counseling. So let me share her profile with you guys. Our third speaker is Alexandra PhiliponA. Alexandra PhiliponA. I hope I am pronouncing your name correctly, Alexandra. She is a holistic mind-body coach and owner of her own coaching business. Originally from Germany, she currently lives in the French-speaking part of Switzerland. As a printing engineer, she was working for more than 20 years in the corporate world in different countries. For many years, she was a partner and CEO in one of the top printing groups in the south of Germany. She's also a yoga and pilates teacher and mother of 4 children. A couple of years ago, she started her own coaching business. Alexandra is passionate about the human mind and body. That's why she developed her unique holistic mind-body approach. She's also an Optimism coach certified by the International Institute of Humanology. And today she is going to talk about the woman empowerment.
Thank you so much, Javeria. I'm also going to share my screen with you. Just a second. I hope you can see it. So I was thinking, I'm living in a very privileged country for women because we have all the freedom on the paper like the men. But in reality, when I was thinking about it, what am I going to talk about today? It's not already really in our heads. I mean, we are like in all the other countries, we are, it depends like in which society you grow up and also in what kind of religion you are having around you. And this is still in our mindset. And this is also what I want to talk about today. It's our mindset, because as I said, for me, we don't have the legal problem here. I mean, all the women, we can bike ride, we can go alone, we can live alone, we can do everything, but very often it's our mindset which is in our way, standing in our way. So we as the woman, we have so many different heads. We are daughters, sisters, wives, mothers, businesswomen, housewife, and so on and so on. And these different things, they have a different status also in our society. And that's how we already learned as a child in our head. What is good, what is not good, what is worth, what has no worth doing it. And as FAUZA already said, no, we as women, we are doing so many things which are not paid. And for a lot of people, this is equal with, okay, if it's not paid, it's not worthy. And that's what I found also when I'm working with my clients. I mean, we have this belief in values, and we have the beliefs. Very often, they are even unconscious. So for me, for example, when I was little, I mean, I could go to school, and it was really great that my parents, they sent me. But when I've decided that I would go to a technical school to become an engineer, my teacher, and I was the best one in physics and chemistry, math in the class. And the teacher told me, oh, don't you want to consider going to a school which is for girls? And I mean, and okay, this is a couple of years ago, but still, you know, this is life. And I said, no, I'm good in math and I'm bright. I can do this, I can go. And so we come also to the role model. No, for me at that time, I was not thinking of being a role model, but it was so important for me to also show the people, hey, we can do it. We are not stupid as women. I mean, we also have brains. And so I became an engineer, and it was sometimes really hard because I was the only woman or girl in the class. And yeah, the others, my colleagues, they just thought that it's not possible that I would be good in math or whatever. And I had to show them, and that really takes energy. So I was constantly in a kind of a fighting modus in my life, because I had to show what I'm able to do. And although I officially have the right to do it, it was always this fight going on in my life. And as I realize now that I'm not the only one who had this fight, so many women in my age and also younger, they were fighting so much to become what they are, that we kind of forgot to really value ourselves for what we are doing. And what am I talking about? I was, for example, only considering work as valued work, the paid work I was doing. So when I was a CEO, for example, of course, I was working my 8 to 10 hours in the company, but I never considered that in the morning when I got up, that I had to get the children ready to go to school. And then when I came back home, preparing the meal for them, doing the washing and all this, that this was also work. It was just in my own mind. I didn't consider it, and I didn't value myself. And I was wondering so much, why am I so tired? And I mean, yeah, Jessica, you're laughing now, but that's like the real, you know, I mean, because I was like, hey, come on, I'm only working 8 or 10 hours, you know, and so many men I know, they are 12 hours at work, and you know, then they go for a beer. I mean, how can they do it? And it really took me years, and now you can laugh, you can probably think, okay, she's extremely stupid, but it took me years to realize that all this other work, we have also to give it a value to it. And also that's what I'm telling my clients now, because yippee, finally, I've realized it, but as I said, it took me a lot of time. And a lot of my clients, they are really coming like with a burnout or depression, whatever you call it, because of this. Because they don't get the approval in the working world, like the paid work. And that's why they have the feeling nobody is really, sees what they are accomplishing, what they are doing. And for me, it really hit me when I realized that also all these beautiful women, they don't value their own work they are doing in the family and they're doing for society. And I think this is really where we have to work on, where we have to really be a role model for the other women and girls to also give this value to what they are doing. And even if it's not paid, but this was, for me, it was really a big mind shift to realize that. And so really give yourself the value for what you're doing in the household. You know, I was doing it like very fast, and so it didn't count. Or when I was very busy, I had even people working for me. So you can say, oh, she is privileged, but still there is a lot of organization and everything behind. And we as women, we have much more to do of this organization, keeping the family together, keeping the children happy, keeping husbands happy. And I think this is also, you know, really a work we can be proud of. I mean, it's very often the women I know, it's like really, you know, they do everything that everybody is happy. And what they forget is to take some time a day in a week to look after themselves, and also to, yeah, as I said, give this proper value and be proud of what you are doing. And of course, I'm absolutely aware that this is on one side, this is very different from what NOORZIA and FAUZA were talking about, because you can say, oh, we are also privileged, you know, because we don't have to fight for our rights. But still people and the women, they suffer. And they suffer because it's still in their mind that it doesn't have any value and they don't see it. And I think we keep forgetting that here in Switzerland, it's only 50 years now that women have the right to vote. And 50 years, you know, it's not such a long time. It's maybe 20 years now, or I would say even less, to be honest, that men have this change in their thinking that women shouldn't stay at home and just care for the family. So even here in our culture, where we have all what we need as women to live a powerful and a self-fulfilled life, it is still in our mindset and the mindset of the society that maybe it would be better that women would stay at home. And this is really what I have felt a lot in my life. So what am I doing? When I'm working with women, and first of all, of course, I'm using a lot what I've also learned from Jessica of the optimism coaching. So very often they end up in such a dark tunnel that they don't see the light anymore. And then I help them to get out and see the sun, see how, precious they are. This is the first step, because when somebody is still in the dark tunnel, in the hole, they are not able to see any change, any possible change or anything. So I'm working with different tools that they see the sun again. And then, and this is very powerful. It seems so simple, but this is really very powerful. I tell them to start writing a list. And just write a list from morning when you wake up till evening when you go to bed, and see what you are doing. It's and waking up the children, preparing their breakfast, doing the shopping, then run to work, come home, call the doctor for an appointment, run a load of the washing machine, or wherever you are, you have to do it by hand. Then prepare dinner, then make a phone call again for the company or whatever. And just this list will be so long. And already when my clients are writing the list, they already realize, oh my God, you know. And then when you see you are only giving you the kudos for the paid work, and then you will realize, you know, I'm doing so much more. And then you can start to work to, to just really to really realize what you are doing all the day. And that it's so great and so good for the children, for the family, and it's so necessary for the society. And it's just brilliant what we are doing. So my message is, stop protecting yourself and stop being in the fighting modus all the time, but just accept the diverse life, the chance of the diverse life we are having as women. Open your heart to the life, love yourself and love the others, and be proud of yourself and be bold. Thank you so much for having me, Jessica. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation, Alexandra. I loved it, and it really rings a bell, and it sounds familiar. If we have time later on, I will tell you a little short story about this that you just said, Alexandra, because I think it is a very important step in the lives of every woman and of every human being who wants to be empowered. We're going to move on, and we're going to introduce the next unexpected but fantastically interesting speaker. We are honored today to have a presentation by none other than wonderful Javeria Asad. Let me also share a little image, if my computer allows it, to show you who Javeria is. Apart from that, apart from being the incredible conductor of all these human evolution through book symposia every month, Javeria is also a woman of many trades. She is an engineer as well, like Alexandra. She's a trained engineer who is also a master at public speaking because she works with Toastmasters. And she is also the vice president of international chapters with Read Pakistan, with whom she has a long history. She does a lot of volunteer work. She works with women, she works with children. She's always on the run, doing a lot of things, and she also has a fantastic family. Sorry to say, her mother has fallen ill these days, and from here, we send her and her mother all our support, all our love, and wish them both a fantastic future. Javeria is an incredible woman who has gone beyond, much more beyond what would have been expected given her circumstances. She's not living in Pakistan anymore, she's in Saudi Arabia, so she's also an international woman in that sense, and we are very, very, very privileged to have her here with us today. Javeria, without further ado, please enlighten us.
Thank you so much, Jessica. You made me emotional. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for your prayers. That's my mother's right now, she's in hospital, and day by day her condition is getting worse. So just remember her in your prayers. As Alexandra mentioned that being an engineer or having a technical education, you always have to, justify why are you here? So recently I attended one seminar where my topic was women empowerment, of course, and Agenda 20 by 30, where I have to mention that why we are still being in the 21st century, we are debating about empowerment of the women, being a half population of this world. So this is a real dilemma of our society. So I made some small slides which I'm going to share with you guys. So it's a little bit technical, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I just want to ask you, whenever you look around the latest invention, what are the names comes up in your mind? What are the major names come up in your mind? If I ask Jessica, any invention, any inventor.
Well, Madame Curie, Thomas Alva Edison, even Jules Verne.
This is right now you're saying because that was tricky and you got my trick actually, but most of the time we don't get these names. Most of the time, Albert Einstein, Wright brothers, Thomas Edison, yeah?
Yeah.
But you know, the most of the household inventions and other inventions were invented by the Wonder Woman of the 50th century, which are still unknown. So let me share small, if I can share right now, slides with you guys, which I prepared. As I started that, firstly, I started with this small quote that behind every successful man, there is a woman, and behind every successful woman is herself. As Alexandra mentioned, that we have to acknowledge ourselves first, then we can acknowledge anybody else. We have to really give value to ourselves. And I'm asked a question with all of you that Einstein, Thomas Edison, Wright brothers, whenever we're thinking about any invention, but who invented dishwasher? Who invented windshield wiper, caller ID, the Wi-Fi, the Wonder Woman of the 50th century? But I hope many, five of us, okay, I know, but most of the people and most of the women around the world don't know this thing. So I took out these names. For example, the lady from America, Florence Parpet, invented refrigerator, actually. You know this lady, Hedy Lamarr? She's beautifully done the role of Cleopatra. She started basically contributed to the invention of the Wi-Fi, without which we cannot live, actually. We will die without Wi-Fi, actually. So, and there are actually 50 names which I can count, but right now I took out some basic names. For example, Mary Anderson, who invented the windshield wiper, the Tabitha Babbitt, who invented circular saw. You can search on internet, so you will get the many other names. But why they are not being acknowledged? Why are their work was not being acknowledged? They are creative, they are innovative, but most of the time they struggle a lot to get the patent of their inventions. Why this is happening, actually? As I mentioned, that in many fields, actually, not in like STEM education, actually, the highly professional educations, the participation of women and the young girls is very less, right? And I'm going to share one, basically right now, I'm just going to share a small facts and figures with you, like that there is one organization, IPO, and they mentioned that women inventors account for just under 13% of patent applications globally. According to the study by the UK's Intellectual Property Office, IPO, that's one female inventor for every 7 males one. And this configuration is increasing day by day. In fact, as Alexandra mentioned, as I mentioned earlier also, that having an engineering background, I faced a lot of criticism when I got, admission in an engineering university, especially in the mechanical department. Like, I also received resistance from male journalists when I started my, journalist career. So basically, as I mentioned, that you can see the major gap between the, the participation from the both genders. You can see the percentage, and this percentage is getting higher day by day, because still we have a fixed mindset which don't allow us that women are able to go in the STEM education. So you can see this fact and figure, the low rate of women career in STEM. I'm more focused on the STEM education because the economy, everything of any country is based on this, STEM education, the science, technology, and mathematics, right? So, like as you say, that this is not a problem in Pakistan. This is an international issue which we are dealing right now, and I said that we are still debating about this issue, that why we are having these issues, and as I mentioned that in United Nations have launched their SDG 5. I hope NOORZIA AFRIDI definitely known about this SDG goal 5, which says that we need to work for the women. They have to be incorporated in all the major political, social, educational organizations. They should have participation in land buying, and particularly in the digital world. They their prominent, position in these particular fields to strengthen the economy of any country. So this is the information I just want to share, because without acknowledging yourself, without giving value yourself, as Alexandra mentioned, as mentioned by FAUZA, that first of all, we need to understand what we can do our lives, what we can do, what our talent is. And after that, we have to decide, yes, we have to, approach, we have to have growth mindset, that even lack of resources, as FAUZA mentioned in her story, that even she has not so much resources to establish her career, but she did it. So, I will share the one book at the end of the discussion, which has the same mindset, that we need to raise our voice, and in front of men, and in every discussion, men should be there, because it's not women empowerment. It's not related that we are just bashing the male, that they are not, allowing us to do that. We have to take them in our conversations. We have to make the part of our conversation. To whom we are objecting all these issues. Who is going to solve this issue? So this is basically the main idea I wanted to share with you guys. So thank you so much for hearing me and giving me this time, because being an engineering background, and I faced a lot of criticism during the university, and after, even right now, people are asking me, "What are you doing, Javeria? Are you doing your job?" Okay, I'm doing not as a 9-to-5 job, but I am a freelance engineer. I remember, but I am doing many other things. Getting high profile degree, it doesn't mean that I'm earning so many things. Your growth is not be measured by the shields or your bank accounts, or it's measured by how much you are giving back to the community. So this is the main thing. You have to empower other ladies like Jessica. Every time she's bringing amazing ladies towards us, and what she's doing amazing, as Alexandra, she being optimistic approach, what FAUZA has done, what NOORZIA is doing. So I think we should work together to empower each other. Thank you so much, Jessica. Now moving towards our panel discussion. So let's start with our panel discussion.
Thank you so much, Javeria. I told you it was going to be interesting, didn't I, everyone? So because she's so interesting and she has so much to say, I would like to, just like that, change today's panel discussion. I want to invite the 4 people to participate. And I would like Javeria to stay with us also as a panelist, because I think she has a lot to contribute. I'm sure NOORZIA, FAUZA, and Alexandra will agree with me. So just being cheeky, because I'm the conductor, I will just go ahead and keep Javeria as one panelist as well. And I will just move on so we don't waste any time. The first question that I would like to ask all 4 panelists today is the following. We have spoken long already about women empowerment, but what is, in your opinion, the most important aspect? The most important one, okay? Out of all aspects, what's the most important aspect to bear in mind when trying to empower young girls? What's the most important one, in your opinion? FAUZA, would you like to start?
Our young women, they need a listening ear. What I've realized with my own experience when I'm in the arena, I realized that sometimes, because moms, especially the women that I work with, they're busy trying to make the ends meet. Our young girls have no one to talk to. And that is why the issues of early pregnancies are there, because we don't have any opportunities to talk about, sex and the repercussion that comes after that. So they need a listening ear. That's what I think it's very important for our young girls, especially with the current season that we are in. They see everything on social media. They don't know if it's good or it's bad, if it's important or not. They just go ahead and then something happens.
Thank you, FAUZA. Thank you for that very clear answer. NOORZIA, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I would like to share what is the most important aspect to bear in mind about the young girls. First of all, they should be aware, and they should be encouraged to share what is their problem. If we will not listen to her, as FAUZA also mentioned, So we cannot solve their problems, and they will not have any encouragement to share their problems, what they want to share. And also first, like their willingness. First, they should be willing to share what they want to share with us. Yeah. So in my opinion, first their willingness, and we should provide them the spaces, and we should know their problems. They should be aware what they want to do. Yeah, this is my opinion about.
Thank you very much. Both aspects are absolutely important. Javeria, what do you think about this? What do you think is the most important aspect?
Empowering the young girls, definitely without education, we cannot do anything. They has to be independent. They has to be like, okay, they should be permitted to pursue their career, whatever they want to. For example, in my family, I was the first engineer, and when I got the admission in a mechanical engineer, my father was the first one. Actually, I was scared. I was telling my mom, no, I will go maybe not the civil engineering or architecture engineering. But my father was the first one who said, why not? Because if many girls are there, in fact, when I was in the university, there were 300 students, and we are only 9 or 11 girls there. But you will not believe that in the final exams, the position was acquired by the girl among the 300 students. So we proved that. So I think education is very important. We have to encourage our young girls to get the technical degrees, because right now this is digital world. We have to be part of the digital economy. So they have to be part of this, this digital world, and they should come. They should start their startups as entrepreneurs. So education is the first key. Get independent.
Thank you, Javeria. We have the third opinion. Let's go for the fourth one. Alexandra, what is, in your opinion, the most important aspect in trying to empower young girls?
I think it's really to have role models, and also role models that we don't create an atmosphere of women against men. Because I think this is really also a danger we are running, that we are creating, again, this society where one of the half of the society is against the other half, which won't help. So I think this is very important.
Thank you so much. I think these are 4 very enlightening opinions. I hope that everyone who's listening to us and watching us right now, or even in the reruns, takes notes, because if you combine the 4 answers, you have a complete answer. The next question says, empowering women. That could be interpreted in many different ways. Women who empower other women versus women helping themselves to be more empowered. So, in your opinion, if you had to mention a few women who empower others, who would you recommend, or who would you say, and why? NOORZIA, would you like to start now?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like how we can empower each other. Yeah, today we all are together, so it's means that we are empowered and we are empowering each other. Yeah, so every woman who wants to empower the other woman, they should have close connection. They should encourage each other. If one woman is sharing something to you, so if at least you cannot do something, you encourage her. Yes, you can do this. So the encouragement is most important to empower each other, in my perspective. And you mentioned that whose name you would like to mention. There are so many women, hundreds and thousands, that who are working and who are empowering other women, but we are not mentioning their name. So every woman is empowered, and I say that each of us and in our community and everywhere in the world, every woman is empowered. But if they realize themselves, we are empowered. So every woman is empowered, in my opinion.
Thank you, NOORZIA. Great. Well, Alexandra, you were talking about role models. So let me just shoot the question to you.
Yeah, NOORZIA, she just gave my answer. So I'm absolutely, thinking the same. I think all the women who are living an empowered life and like really true to themselves, these are the role models. And these are also the women who can help younger women to be empowered.
So there's a coincidence there. Let's see what FAUZA tells us. FAUZA, what do you think about this?
I think we are all of us here tonight. The reason why we are here is because we want to see the next generation of women even doing better things than our grandmothers, great-grandmothers, our aunties and all that. So already here, we have already tapped into something that is bigger than our own credibilities. And I want to honor all of us tonight for doing that, especially all of us tonight on this call. I would like to honor my mother. And the reason why I want to honor my mother is because despite the abuse, the challenge that she went through, she still has glowing eyes because she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And because she has turned, she stood the wind, the storm. She has inspired me to push the boundaries of the culture, of the religion issues, of our cultures, of the stereotypes, to be me, because she didn't have the courage to do that herself. And because of the pain that she has gone through that came to me as a result of that, I want to honor her. Because of her pain, I want to stand so that another child, especially where I come from, she will look and say, FAUZA has tapped, I want to do better. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, FAUZA. Cheers to your mother from here too. Javeria, what would you like to say in response, in answer to this question?
FAUZA grabbed my answer. I was about to say that my mother actually, she was a teacher. She was a teacher of chemistry actually, in high level grades. And she understood the importance of education, high degree, high professional education. So she forced me, or for me and my sister to have professional degrees. So I got my mechanical degree and my sister is a microbiologist. So she understood that without, as I said earlier, the education can empower us. And she is the powerhouse for both of us. Right now, I will be the powerhouse for my daughter. So as FAUZA said, that it will go generation to generation. And of course, as FAUZA shared her stories, many of the women will, when they will hear her story, they will get the encouragement, they will get the motivation. So this is one way to encourage or to empower other women. So this is a chain reaction actually. So right now, maybe most of the people will, when they will see this session, maybe they will get inspired by all of us. So this is the one way to get empowered, I think. And yes, I always say that technically we have to share the shoulder to other women that yes, we are here to hear you. This is very important.
Thank you, Javeria. Thank you for that answer too. The third question we have for the four speakers goes as follows: empowering women versus empowering human beings. What are your thoughts on this sentence, on this idea? Empowering women versus empowering human beings. Would you like to start, Javeria?
No, I don't want to start it. I want to start with you, because when they were talking about human beings, then we are talking about the humanology. And when we are talking about humanology, we are talking about Jessica. So
okay, I will answer it later. I will answer it later. You go ahead, Javeria. I will give my thoughts.
Yes.
So give us your thoughts. I will give mine later.
Okay. I mean, it's not about women and men. If we are concerned human beings, so this gender discrimination should not be, created. Why we are talking about this? Because we are not considered to be equal human beings. That's why we are debating all about this. We are still debating for have our legal rights, our professional rights at the workplaces. We are not getting our, positions on a merit. So that's why we are not considered as equal human beings. That's why we are not being treated like an equal human being, just like men, I think.
Thank you.
We need to raise our voice. Yes.
Thank you. NOORZIA?
Yes. In my opinion, like every human being is equal, as Javeria also mentioned, but not getting the same treatment as a woman. But it must be thing to everyone that when this world is only because of women, you know, if the existence of this world is just because of women, so women should be treated equally as a human being, and woman is a very peaceful part of this world. So even every human beings are equal. So this world should realize, and every person, everyone of this world should respect women, because this is just because of women. So all human beings should be treated as a human, not only as a man or woman. Yeah, so this is my thought about women versus human beings.
Okay, thank you. Fauza.
This is an interesting one, but I want us to go back to the beginning of the creation. When God created man, right? He said that he created us like his own image. And then, you know, the issue of Adam and, you know, the fallen thing of Eve and all that, we've all read these stories, we know these stories. But I think for me, when God looks at us, he sees us equal. And for us women, the reason why we fight, it's because we feel that the men are not reading in the same hymn the way we want them to read. A woman who will be doing the same job as her counterpart colleague, she may be even earning less than the man. Why? Because we always feel that the men are, you know, they're the head, and you know, it's just the. Yeah, we're just living in we're living in a broken world, if I can say so. And for me, I want to honor my husband, because as much as, you know, I'm in the woman empowerment and all that, he is a good man. A good man in that he has supported literally everything that I do. And the ministry that I'm doing, the support, he believes in me more than I believe in myself sometimes. And so we can't always be segregating, because we need men. And there are good men out there who they can read with us on the same hymns. So for me, with the woman and humanity, we are all equal. Because when God looks at us, he sees us all the same. But because the power, you know, there is the issue of the power and the hierarchical and this, and it's my time to eat and all that. That's when things fall apart. I think that's, for me, that's how I want to address that. But in the eyes, we are all the same.
Thank you so much, Fauza. Alexandra?
Yeah, for me, it's also, I mean, we as women, we are humans. So for me, you can't say no versus. I mean, it's all the humans and the men. And I just wanted to add this. I mean, here now in Europe, we are in a society where young boys, they really struggle in school, because the system is actually better for girls. So it's easier for them. And nowadays we have like more lawyers or students who have finished university. They're all girls. It's very difficult here in Switzerland to find men for the higher position. So it's starting to turn around. What I want to say is that we shouldn't forget about the men, and we should like treat them all. And they have to fight with their unconscious beliefs. So for me, it's like really the humanity. Humans are the most important. Beside all the work we have to do, of course, that we are going to be equal. No discussion about that.
Thank you so much for that answer, Alexandra. So this completes the part of the panel where we were answering the questions that the Institute had for the 4 experts. But that doesn't mean that today's event is finished. Now we're going to open the panel to the 4 speakers at the same time, and we're going to be asking them the questions that our audience sends us. Before we do that though, please bear with me. And let me just take a few minutes to answer the 2 things that I was asked before we move on to the panel. So the first thing I wanted to comment was that little story that I told Alexandra I would share with you. She was explaining that It's us women that have to realize that we have to give ourselves that recognition. Very quickly, let me tell you of an anecdote. When I was about 32 years old, I was a simultaneous interpreter. Blah, 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 blah. I used to translate in congresses. And I remember I was translating at a feminist conference in Spain, and we were talking about the new masculinities. This is around 20 years ago, and people were already talking about new masculinities and the role of women. 20 years, don't forget. And I remember being there repeating what a man was saying. I was blah, 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 repeating and thinking, this is creepy. What this man is saying is me. What he is explaining is about me. And I never met the man, of course. He was just a speaker. So when the talk finished, I remember driving home thinking, I'm going to talk to my husband. So I got home, I made dinner, I took care of my child, we had dinner, and after dinner or during dinner, I don't remember, I told my husband, honey, there's something I want to discuss with you. I said, yeah, sure, what? I said, I was at this conference today, and there was this man telling us that, yes, women are underrepresented. Women are overworked. Women have all these responsibilities because they work full time, they do all these things, and then they take care of the children, the house, they have all these jobs. And he said, but nobody is asking them to do that. I went like, wait a minute. And then I told my husband, you know what is true? You work 100% of your time, I work 100% of my time. But then I run the house, I take care of the child, I do the grocery shopping, I look for the housekeeper, I organize everything. If our son gets sick, I'm the one who takes the son to the doctor, no questions asked. We don't even think that you can go to the doctor instead of me. And he goes like, oh God, that's true. I never thought about it like that, because my husband, like somebody else's here, is a very good man. And he's really, really egalitarian in that sense. And he said, that's true. And I said, and we never discussed it. And I realized on the way home when I was driving that it wasn't your fault. You're not to blame. It is true that when we first started living together, it was me. I was the one to take on that responsibility. I wanted to please you. I wanted to do everything for you. I wanted to run home and have this fantastic dinner laid on the table, beautifully presented, so you would like it, enjoy it, and be happy. I started doing it out of my own will. You never forced me, but we never discussed it. And after this man's presentation today, I realized that we just fell into those roles and just accepted them without questioning them. This brings me back to what Alexandra was mentioning a few minutes ago, that has to do with beliefs. We grow up in certain societies, and those societies have certain beliefs, and we make those beliefs ours. We grow up into roles that we never question, because no one gives us a different perspective. But there I was, alas, in that Congress, and I had a new perspective that made me question my old one. And that's when we changed our reality. My husband and I decided to talk about it and change it. And that is the first thing that I wanted to say. And the second one has to do with this last question that Javeria asked me. Is it women empowerment or is it human being empowerment? I would say it is human being empowerment, because my husband was as unaware as I was that there was this inequality. He had to be empowered as a male, as a man, as much as I had to be empowered as a woman. We say women need to be empowered, but you know what? Men also need to be empowered in other different fields. They have to be empowered in empathy. They have to be empowered in understanding. They have to be empowered in intuition. We all need to be empowered in that sense. I always say that this is not about equality. I don't defend equality. I defend, and now I cannot come up with a word, because considering us all equals would put us at a disadvantage. Let me use another example to illustrate this. I am a disabled woman, okay? I have a physical disability. If I was to be treated equally, my disability would immediately place me underneath or below somebody who's healthy, because I don't have the same capabilities. So we really have to have a situation in which my disabilities are somehow balanced, so I am at the same level. And that is what we have to get. We have to be equal given our differences. That's the only way ahead. And that's, I think, the fight we need to fight. Well, I will shut up here because I'm not one of the experts today. I just answered the questions that I was asked. And I do have a few questions for the 4 members of today's panel. The panel goes as follows. I will ask the question, you just raise your hand or open the mic, you just answer the question if you find it interesting, okay? There's no obligation for you to answer anything. There's first one comment. Asad Ali Hassan wrote, wonderful topic, empowering women is surely needed in current times. Thank you for that comment. We are very happy to see that people agree with that basic idea. Okay, the first question for the panel is, can you give us specific tools to empower women? So they're asking for something practical. Can any of you give them specific tools? They're asking for something specific, I guess. Anybody wants to take the floor? Yes, Javeria and then FAUZA, please.
Okay, starting from young girls, or are you talking about the overall empowerment? Because it starts from childhood, actually.
Okay,
self-worth.
The person who asked that only wrote the question. Sorry, Javeria. The person only wrote the question. We can ask them to clarify. In the meantime, you can answer.
Okay, let's start from the young girls, because a girl become a woman, you know. So education, self-worth, she should be allowed to, you know, adopt any kind of career she wants to be. And, you know, basically it's all about, and definitely, you know, the culture, religion, social norms, these are our, basically these are our tools. These are not our restrictions. We use it as our resources. So these are use it as you can. Like, for example, I'm wearing hijab, but I am flourishing my career internationally. So my religion doesn't, you know, stop me to do that. So self-worth, understand your values and use wisely whatever you have around you.
Thank you, Javeria. FAUZA, please.
She has actually said what I was thinking also. It's like today the floor is so beautiful. Yes, but I would like to echo what Javeria has said. Education, you know, I believe that I wouldn't be here if I didn't had an opportunity to walk barefoot to school for almost 2 hours and sit in a classroom where when it's raining, the water is dripping inside on our desk. And because I had that opportunity, I've been able to navigate and develop myself in the areas that I want to tap into. The other thing that I really believe so much, Jessica, is love. I think every human being, whether man, boy, grown-up woman, young woman, mature men, mature women, we all crave for love. When a human being is well loved, they tap they live differently, and they really tap into their inner being that can back to so many beautiful things. So love, education. And for me, what I've learned with my own experience, we need also to empower each other in the financial sector. This is a very sensitive topic that we choose, we put it on the side, but for us to do this, it means someone had invested on a Zoom app, and now we are able to use it to do this call. Investing in financial for women is very, very crucial. The women that I work with back home, yeah, I have a group of women that I do for my other business to produce the products that I sell. You know, when you empower women to be financially independent, you have given them power so that even if their marriage falls apart, they know that they can stand on their own, they can pay their kids' school fees, they can do this, they can go back to school. The list is very long, Jessica. For me, those three, they are very crucial.
Thank you so much, FAUZA. Yes, Alexandra, I was asking for the floor as well. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. No, yeah, I just wanted to add that it is also very important, or a tool for me, to sit down and think what you as a woman, what you really want. Because very often we are not very clear about that. Because we think so much, we should do this, we should do that. And the shoulds, it's all the society. And then be honest to yourself what you really want, and then stand for it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. There goes the topic of beliefs again, the shoulds of society. So the next question says, Fauza, you introduced her book. Thank you so much for that. Would anybody else like to recommend any other books that we could read about this topic? Anybody would like to recommend a book about this topic? Yes, Javeria, go for it. And then Fauza.
Yes. First, can you see the image?
Not very well. Put it in front of you. Javeria. There you go. Win-win.
Maybe like this. Okay, this is Win-Win by 𝙃𝙐𝙈 𝙀𝙊𝙆, and I didn't finish it, but I found it very useful.
Sorry, Javeria. Sorry. We cannot hear you because the microphone is right behind the book. So please show us the book.
So it's a book. Okay, can you hear me now? It's a Win-Win book by 𝙃𝙐𝙈 𝙀𝙊𝙆. Okay, and it's in this book basically she's telling that it's important to talk to the men, as I said earlier in my presentation also, who want to ally with these movements or the things we are looking for, and push for gender balance we are talking about. And the only way to find these allies to get men into the room. So in every discussion, for if we are making any policies or we are talking about, men should be part of it. I didn't finish it completely, but I really find it useful for the women who are in the business or starting their own setups, kind of. So Win-Win by 𝙃𝙐𝙈 𝙀𝙊𝙆. Very important book.
Thank you so much. Fauza, you raised your hand, or was that yeah?
Yes, no, I did, because okay. I really believe that each one of us has a book in themselves. And sometimes, yes, all of us have a book, because everybody has a story. It doesn't always have to be the one that you had to crawl out of the dust or, getting dirty in the mud. Each one of us has a story. So all of us, including the person who asked that question, they are a book themselves. I wanted to say that as well. And of course, my books, Rising from the Dust, A Woman's Journey to Self-Discovery, Transform Fear into Freedom, Harness the Power of Your Mind, as well as the book that really inspired me, Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And another one is by Joyce Meyer, The Battlefield of the Mind. Because everything, the war is always raging in the mind. When we can be able to get hold and take captive of our thoughts, we live differently. So those are my takeaways for you guys.
I will appreciate if all of you mention in the chat box the name or title of the book and the author name. So we will share on our main page, because it's Read Pakistan and it's all about reading.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yes, Alexandra.
Yeah, I would also like to mention a book which goes into the direction what Fauza said. It's The Untitled Soul by Michael A. Singer. And I can really recommend that. When you want to understand why your brain is constantly talking to you and to find out who this voice is or who is not. So I really love this book.
Thank you so much, Alexandra. Noorzia, do you have a book to recommend? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I would recommend a book. Its name is Pakistan for Women. It's about real stories of more than 50 women and their struggle and now to the highest degree of achievement. So it's a really more important book to be read. And I will send the name of the book in the chat box so you can read and you can find. It's a really very inspirational story in that book that you can read and to know that how women are struggling and how they become a successful woman. Yeah, so this is my recommendation for this book.
Thank you so much for these recommendations. I'm sure our followers will look for those books and read them avidly. We have a very special question coming next. The question, I'm just going to read it literally, okay? The question goes as follows. Thank you so much for these presentations, but I have a question for the speakers. I am a woman who has always been under the control of men. First my father, now my husband. I have no freedom. I cannot choose or decide for myself. How can I therefore be empowered? Ladies, that's a tough one. Who wants to take the challenge?
It's really a tough situation because right now I am speaking too much because my father was very supportive, my brothers were too supportive, and now my husband is really too supportive, and he's allowing me to do everything. But I think we need to set priorities. For example, my husband has only two conditions: that my children care should not be compromised, their education should not be compromised, and the household chores should not be compromised. So I have to, time management is very important. So I think you need to sit with him right now and need to know exactly what he wants from him, from her actually. And I think, she has to discuss with him. I don't know, because it's very easy to comment on that, because the person who is bearing the situation know the, if and buts of the situation. But I think conversation and discussion, it's a first step. And exactly what she wants to do and how she is abandoned, or why she's oppressed, what she wanted to do in her life, where she has stopped, why she has stopped, why his husband is not, so these are the main questions that she needs to address with him exactly. But I know it's tough.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to take this question and give another answer? Yes, Alexandra?
Yeah, I'm also thinking, I'm absolutely conscious that it depends in which culture you are living, but I think you shouldn't never give up to be yourself and to stand for it. And as Jessica, as you said before, your husband, he understood, that it was difficult for you, and that you were both like living the life according to society. But I have to say, I had a husband, he didn't understand. And what did I do? I left him with 4 children. I'm living by myself now. And clear in some societies you can't do that, or you think you can't, but very often you can if you want to. So of course, it's not telling you to leave them right away, but try to discuss, try to change things. But if you can't, live your life, even if it's hard.
Okay, anybody else would like to add anything?
I just want to applaud Alexandra. It takes courage and vulnerability to do what you've done. I really wish that many women would have that courage like you've had. Of course, everyone's story is different, and that's why I just want to applaud you for sharing that, because it's very sensitive and a personal thing. Thank you.
Yes, and I want to share one point that she's rightly said, that it's all about culture, because in Asian society and in Pakistan society, we can't do that so easily. We have so much pressure. We have so much society pressure. Oh, you will leave your husband. What will you do? You cannot do anything. How will you nurture your kids? Although women are doing that, but and in any divorce, in any separation, in our society, I don't know about the Western culture, but most of the time, always, the victim is men actually, because always they are pointing fingers at women. I think you did something. It's in our culture, unfortunately. So
it's
we
the
are
same
the victim,
here.
and we are facing the blame and team game.
But Javeria, it's the same here. It's easier because we have the right to go, and it's easier because more women are doing it in society, but they still blame us. And in the beginning, when people asked me, like where I live, what I'm doing, I didn't want to say that I am divorced and that I live by myself with 4 children, because I had the feeling that like society is telling me, this is not good. You shouldn't do that. You should have a husband. And so it's really also about our mindset, because I felt sad about it, and now because I did a lot of work around it as well, I'm proud of it. Because I did it, and we are happy. We are living a happy life, And it's also thanks to that I had the possibility to go to school, thanks that I could go to university, and that I can earn enough to like to have a house and all this, for my family. And I can do this as a woman. And I'm proud of it now.
Thank you so much, Alexandra, Fauza, Javeria. I would only like to add one thing, if I may, and then I want to ask the next question. I would like to say that sometimes in those situations, yes, it is very difficult to count on men because in certain societies, their beliefs lead them to act in that way. But, and please correct me, all of you. I was going to say Fauza and Javeria because of the societies you live in, but maybe Alexandra as well. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that in those cases, you should also try and seek support from other women who might be able to give you a little bit of support and might create a network that might give you some help. And maybe, if you can, you could also try and seek the support of other men in your environment. Sometimes there is a cousin, sometimes there is a brother, sometimes there is a grandfather who is not that closed-minded or that fixed on those beliefs that might talk to the other men and give it a little twist. To open a door, you just have to open it a little bit. You don't need to open it wide to be able to have it open. Once it's a little open, it's easier. So I would also recommend that, if that helps. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jessica. I think now when I look at the people in my generation now, like the generation of me back home, we've got people who they're single moms and they're doing it very well. I have friends who they're not married and they have their kids and they're doing very well. But I think because it's the cultural thing that Javeria says earlier, that our grandmothers had to endure, my mother had to endure. And now if I don't break the chain, that thing will keep on going on. And now it's about me. What is it that I really want for me, Fauza? What is it that I want? What is it that you want? Because as Alexandra has said, if you are able to point finger on what really matters in your life, you will make different choices in your life. You will do things differently because, when you know better, you do better.
Okay, the next question.
I want to add one point. That compromise is good. You have to be flexible, yes. But please figure it out. After all these compromising, are things getting better? Because most of the time, even all the compromises, life is getting more complicated. So don't waste your life, don't waste your time. I mean, such relationships, be flexible as much you can. Mm-hmm. Do your compromises, but time to time, you have to figure it out. You have to evaluate whether it's compromise situation and whatever doing I'm contributing, it's working or not. Don't waste your time, believe me. And because, once you will do that, your daughter will learn the same thing. Definitely the other day you will teach the same scenario to your daughter. No, you have to do compromise because I did it. So no, what the role model, what the example you are going to set for your daughter. So do things. I'm not saying that, just take the decision, but time to time you have to evaluate the situation. That's
Thank you so much. I want to make a little pause here before asking the next question because I don't see NOORZIA on the screen. Maybe she turned her camera off, but I would like to tell you all who are watching this Human Evolution Through Books today that she was very sick today, in spite of which she wanted to be here with us and share her nugget of knowledge and her experience with us. So I just wanted to say thank you to NOORZIA for the effort she made. I know she made a huge effort to be here today. She was really sick. So NOORZIA, if you are connected without the camera, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you had to leave us, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was fantastic. Oh, there she comes. Thank you, NOORZIA. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure you were still with us. I know you're very sick today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of you and to be at this event. Really, I enjoyed this event and all our opinions, being a woman and to sharing experiences. It's really very, very impressive for me and for all other women. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So the last question that I have right now for you, ladies, is as follows. My husband says that diversity is enriching. And in his company, they place diversity very high up in the ranks. They say that the greater the diversity, the more resources they will have and the better understanding of situations they will get. I suppose this also applies to women being present in every field and aspect of society and work. So what would you say is the number one thing that women contribute that men are not that good at? So what would you highlight as that special magical gift from women? Anybody?
Yeah, I mean, first, I would say it's the organization of so many things at a time. We are masters in that. There are, of course, also some men who can do it, but all in all, that's our strength.
But wouldn't you say, and I will just try to expand that a little bit, wouldn't you say, Alexandra, that we are all such fantastic multitaskers because that's how we're raised to be? I mean, in many households, women are already asked to do multiple things from very young ages, whereas men are not that often asked to do that many things at the same time. So would you say there is also a cultural basis to that?
I think it's a cultural, but it's also a biological thing, because we have this strong connection to our kids. We have the strong connection to the family, you know, because, yeah, and I think this is also what makes a difference. It's not only society, it's also biology.
Okay.
Actually, Jessica, we are born managers. I mean, time management and managing, we are the born event planners, managers, we are the teachers, chefs. It's in our blood, actually. Nobody can teach us. I mean, you know, it's time to time you discover yourself, you explore yourself. So I think it's in our, you know, like God made us like this. So
it's funny because I do know a few young women who don't believe that and who say, I'm lousy at multitasking and I cannot multitask. So what else do you girls think?
I think after getting married, automatically you will become a multitasker. You have no choice. You have no choice.
Okay. Anybody else would like to add anything else? Yes, Fauza?
Yeah, I think like what Alexandra and Javeria says, we are naturally born with, I don't know, there is just something in women that it's really different. And I'll give you an example, personal example. When I was 7 or 8, I think I was less than 10 years old. I was already cooking. I was going already to the river to bring water, going to the bush to cut firewood, come back home and cook for me and my grandmother at such a younger age. So sometimes you grow up, you know, you carry all this, and then you are a mother. You go to the river, you fetch water, you have a bucket on your head, your child is on your back, you have a gallon of water on your hand. I mean, seriously, this takes a lot of strength, So I really believe that women, we are naturally gifted in that way. When you are sick, you can still be able to stand and cook, but sometimes for men, it's not the same, you know, and we are just, I think we're just blessed in that, but also the intuition, you know, that little, you know, which is always in us. And I really believe that we shouldn't underestimate the power that is within each one of us women, because we are so, so powerful, very powerful.
Fauza, because you were saying we're sick and we still get up and cook. Let me say, we're sick and we still connect and give a presentation and participate in a panel discussion like NOORZIA just did right now. Thank you, NOORZIA, bravo.
I just got one picture. I just want to share with you guys whatever Fauza said. Can you see that?
Okay, let's see if it connects.
Can you see that?
Not yet, let's see, one moment. There we go, yes, we can see it.
Yes, this is what Fauza was trying to say that actually, and it's happening to every woman actually, and you know, hats off to them.
Thank you so much.
Every woman around here.
Okay, we have another comment coming from Eman Ali. He says, thanks for discussing This is such a wonderful topic. Thank you, Eman. Thank you for your comments, your support. We only have a few minutes left, and before we close this very interesting topic, I would like to give the chance to every speaker, every expert today to give us their last nugget of wisdom. What is your final message for our viewers and listeners today? Who wants to start? Your farewell message, if you want. Yes, Alex.
I would like to say, be authentic and stay happy.
Thank you so much, Alexandra. Be authentic and stay happy. I like it. Yes, next.
I just want to remind each one of us tonight, whether you're watching now or you're going to stumble this conversation later, that there is just something so beautiful in you that sometimes, because of the chaos around us, it just gets blocked. But it's still, when you open the veil, that power is in you. That power that pushed a child into this world, honey, believe me, that power is still there. So no matter what you are going through right now, know that also you are not alone. You have a sisterhood, like now on this call, who you can actually just text. The power of social media, you can reach to other women. Don't hide on isolation. Don't hide yourself in your bedroom, weeping and all that. It's okay. But when you do that, get out, find your network, find your sisterhood, find your tribe, as I call it. You are not alone. You are not alone. And the power, even in that, is still in you. Always remember.
Thank you so much, Fauza, also for those last words. Javeria, would you like to say some last words on this topic before I close the panel?
Yeah, my husband always used to say that you are the center of this family. If you are depressed, the whole mood of the family get depressed. And you are happy, everything, because right from last 1 month, I'm so depressed. So everybody in a very sad mood. So, first take care of yourself first, because if you will be healthy, you will be content with your life, then you can keep other people around you satisfied and content. So although I'm saying this, but I don't do that, but I have to do that, being a woman, being a mother, being a wife. So please take care of yourself and prioritize yourself, what exactly you want from your life, okay? Okay, fine. For example, if I can't pursue my engineering career, being in Saudi Arabia, I've discovered myself as motivational speaker, as mentor, as, Toastmaster, but I am doing things, I'm discovering myself. So, believe in yourself, because you are remarkable.
Yes, and give yourself the chance to discover who you truly are inside. So this will conclude our panel for today. I think it was very intense, very enlightening, very interesting. Remember that you will have the whole copy on our YouTube channel very soon, and also on our website at the International Institute of Humanology. Now we're going to give the floor to Javeria, who is going to be sharing the next topic of our next evolution through books, human evolution through books, for next month, right now. Javeria, what are we going to be talking about next month?
Okay, Jessica, really, I am going to talk about this. Okay, so as you all know, that this human evolution through books, we bring a new edition on the last Saturday of every month, and the next will be on, I guess, 27th of November. I guess, it will be on 28th of November, and we are going to talk about youth, their self-discovery, their exploration, career counseling, and so many things. So don't miss this edition. And we will invite experts, authors, humanologists to talk about this. That will be another milestone we will achieve, inshallah. So thank you so much, all of you, Fauza, Alexandra, NOORZIA, and of course, Jessica, for connecting me and Read Pakistan and the Read community with these wonderful ladies. These are the role models, the true inspiration for all of us. And we really, really, honored to have all of you on board. Thank you so much. So anything you want to add, Jessica?
Yes, I want to, of course, thank the 4 experts today, Alexandra, NOORZIA, Fauza, and yourself, Javeria, for giving us so much.
I was certain expert, you know.
Yeah. So
I became a certain.
you are, of course. Thank you so much for giving us this food for thought that I'm sure will make everybody think a little bit more about this topic today. As Javeria just said, next month we're going to be talking about young people, about youth, about talent, how to discover it, maybe manage it, how to really understand who you are, where you come from, who you are, and where you want to go. So next time is young people. That also includes women. So you're all invited to join us. Spread the word. Please help us get people to know about human evolution through books so we can reach more people, so we can distribute this, so we can enlighten people, so that people get motivated to reading books as well, because that will also help them in their lives. I'm Jessica Lockhart. This was a new edition of Human Evolution Through Books. Thank you so much. As Alexandra said, stay happy. Have a fantastic week, a fantastic month. See you next month. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care.